Yes.
You're, you're watching BrainStormAcres. I'm Henry.
And I'm Irene.
This morning, we're busy butchering up some bulk meat that we bought at a big box store yesterday. And I'm also going to be making some easy-to-make ribs. Now, these are baby back ribs. You wouldn't believe how easy they are to make.
Right. I was talking with Henry this morning and I said, you got to share this because I see all kinds of channels that have these, you get the heat just right on the barbecue and you've got to have this special kind of smoker and you got to have just the right wood and this and that and the other thing. Well, that's awesome if you're really into grilling. If you're not, wouldn't it be nice to have really good ribs pretty darn quick?
Well, not all that fast. It takes a couple of hours.
Yeah, but easy. You don't have to stand there and watch them either.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting some ribs into a bowl. I'll be putting a store-bought barbecue sauce on them. I'll put them in the refrigerator for a few hours so they can marinate. And then probably around 12 or 1 o'clock, I'll put them into the oven slow, about 250 degrees, and they should be ready for dinner about 5:30. So I'll go ahead and show you how we're doing this meat and what we're going to be doing with it. But there's some other things you can do in the kitchen too. Yesterday we went to a big box store. Well, we both rode up, and because I have a health issue, Irene went in, and she went in with gloves and mask. And what we do with those masks when we come back, because she uses N95 masks in her business, we have a small stash,
right.
Very small stash. We have 4. They've been used before. What we do now is when we come back from the store or someplace like that, which is very, very seldom, I bake them. I put them in the oven at about 160 degrees for 30 minutes. Now that comes from Stanford University Medical Research. They say you can do that, so we're doing it. I'm going to make them last as long as I can.
Right, because right now I don't think you can buy them for lavender money. Well, maybe it's for enough money, but we don't have that kind of money. So, and we have several. I use them when I carve stone because silicosis, which is a disease of the lungs caused by getting silicone from stone into your lungs, is a bad plan.
Yeah, so we're not going to do that. So we're going to go ahead and get started doing this. We have a couple of vacuum sealers set up here. We use one to actually make the bag bottom sealed, and then we do everything on the second one. So what we're doing is kind of short cycling the heating process out of these vacuum sealers to make them last longer and so that we can get a production line going.
Right. This old vacuum sealer is quite a few number of years old, and it got to the point where the vacuum part wasn't working particularly well on it, but the sealing strip works great. Now this one, the sealing strip works okay, but the vacuum sealer is still working great, but we're just trying not to wear it out because I haven't been super impressed with any of these. We'd like to get a professional one. They're not in the budget right now. We're going to make it work. One of the things I like about the old one is it allowed me to adjust the depth of how far the sealing strip is from the edge. I could put it just a half an inch from the edge. It's making a solid seal. It's not a problem. The other one requires like an inch and a half from the edge. So that uses a lot more plastic, which is great for them, but we're not buying their plastic anymore. We found another supplier that's, a quarter of the price.
So we'll put a link to those bags in the show notes. We're not going to get a commission off it, but we want to let you know.
Right.
All right, so let's get started.
Right.
When we bought that bulk package of baby back ribs, we ended up with 3 sets of ribs. It's really large. That's what we always buy when we buy the baby back ribs for our own consumption. We freeze a bunch, and I always try to cook some that same day. I cut either 2 or 3 ribs into each portion. So usually 2 portions serves the 2 of us for 1 meal. Each bag will get 2 portions of the pork ribs. Now I'm doing a little bit different when it comes to what I'm going to make today. I'm going to cook some extra. Because it takes 3 or 4 hours in the oven on low, I want to go ahead and be efficient. So I'll make some extra ribs so we can have them this weekend. Let's go ahead and get the bag loaded up and we'll get it sealed. All right, Irene's going to go ahead and put these in the deep freeze while I start using these ribs that are over here and getting them marinating for cooking later. As I said when I started, I'm going to go ahead and use a commercial barbecue sauce on these ribs. We happen to like it. It's quick, it's easy, it's reasonably inexpensive. I put some barbecue sauce into the bowl. Then I start putting the ribs in. Now all you need to do is mush this stuff around. Get the meat completely covered. All we're trying to do is marinate it. Well, that's it for right now. Before I put them in the oven, they're going to marinate for about 3 hours. I'll be taking them out of the refrigerator, wrapping them in tin foil. I'll put them in the oven to bake at about 250 degrees.